and welcome to this month's Kay and Burton Market Report. I'm Mona Ibellini, and this report is brought to you by Kay and Burton and Dr. Andrew Wilson from My Housing Market. The robust Melbourne weekend home auction market maintained the solid results recorded this year so far over March, despite the challenges of continued high numbers of listings, with the market clearly remaining in favour of sellers generally. Clearance rates continue to track at the highest level since November last year, with market confidence supported by the significant easing of COVID restrictions over the month and the strengthening of the local economy. Melbourne recorded an overall weekend auction clearance rate of 72.4% over March, which was similar to the 73.3% reported over February, but lower than the 82.4% recorded over March 2021. 4,276 homes were listed for Saturday auction over March at an average of 1,069 per weekend, which was 4.4% higher than the 1,024 averaged over March last year. Melbourne recorded a weekend median auction price for houses of $1.115 million over March, which was 9.3% higher than the $1.02 million recorded over March last year. Melbourne reported a weekend auction sales turnover over March of $1.828 billion at a weekend average of $462 million. That was 7.8% lower than last year's March average result at $501 million. Melbourne's Inner East reported the highest median house price sold at weekend auctions over March at $1.406 million, followed by the Inner South at $1.328 million and the Inner City at $1.272 million. Clearance rates in Melbourne's premium inner suburban auction markets were lower over March compared to March 2021, from generally similar listing numbers. Auction prices in premium areas remain significantly higher over March 2022 compared to March 2021. Mornington Peninsula weekend auction clearance rates were lower over March compared to February, but similar to the results reported over March 2021. They did, however, remain significantly higher than Melbourne results generally over the same period. Rye was again most popular weekend auction suburb on the Mornington Peninsula over March with an 81.8% clearance rate. High listing numbers across Melbourne and the Mornington Peninsula reflect sustained buyer depth and elevated appetite for property. Continued higher levels of housing market activity also reflect the restoration of confidence with the significant easing of COVID restrictions over March. Sharply falling unemployment rates and strong jobs growth is also fueling higher confidence and demand for Melbourne housing. Recent heightened speculation regarding the likelihood of near-term increases in interest rates remains unrealistic, with the latest wages data still significantly below the thresholds consistently pronounced by the RBA as a requirement for an official rate rise. Interest rate increases, if they occur, will clearly be minimal and offset by wage increases and likely government pre-election handouts that will moderate any impact on affordability and associated housing market activity. The remarkable growth in house prices recorded over 2021 will not be repeated in 2022, with affordability barriers now constraining the capacity of buyers to bid up prices. Home prices, however, will likely to continue to rise through the year, albeit at relatively modest levels, as demand continues to push ahead of supply. All market segments will continue to produce solid results for sellers, with prestige suburban markets and the Mornington Peninsula continuing to attract aspirational and lifestyle buyers. After a solid start to the auction year, April will typically produce more subdued results, reflecting the significant holiday distractions that characterize a month with lower auction volumes, particularly in the prestige market. Thank you for watching this month's Kate and Burton Market Report. We look forward to seeing you next month.